Hi there guys, welcome back to another tiering list video on the RetroBrown channel. This one is for all of the Pokemon that we did during the month of RetroBrown. There's a lot to sort through here. Probably we did as many runs in just the month of RetroBrown as we did since we started the Johto playlist. So let's get right into it. All of the ones we've got here are quite nicely placed. So let's get started with Heracross. So Heracross finished the game at the Elite Four, 4 hours 11 minutes level 59, which is pretty decent. Means it's pretty much a solid A-B tier sort of Pokemon. I mean, it doesn't get into the A tier because it did it over 4 hours, but yeah, it's a pretty solid Pokemon. It beat Red at the time of 5 hours 24 minutes at level 75. Really good time, really good level, and it didn't need double team. Meaning it actually gets a very firm place in that B tier, but where in that B tier? So unfortunately, Quillfish did the game, the Elite Four, 1 minute faster and 1 level better. It also beat Red 5 minutes faster, but only 3 levels worse. So honestly, I think Quillfish earns its spot before Heracross here, which is a weird thing to say. It really is a weird thing to say. But this is why I'm doing these runs. It's all fun and games for me. This brings us on to Typhlosion. Now, I never imagined that Typhlosion was this good. I love the Typhlosion line. In fact, it's probably my favourite starter Pokemon out of any generation. I never imagined that a Fire-type Pokemon could do as well in Johto as this Pokemon could. It beat the game in 3 hours 33 minutes, which is quicker than Lugia, but it did it at level 61, meaning, unfortunately, Typhlosion is going to be below Lugia, but still in that S tier. It even beat Red at a better time, at 4 hours 42 minutes. It was level 73 and Lugia was level 67, but yeah, just based off time alone, that's the only reason why Typhlosion is not topping Lugia here for the King of Gen 2. This brings us on to the next Pokemon, which genuinely was one of my least favourite runs in this entire series so far, and that is Marill. So Marill finished the game at 6 hours 16 minutes at level 78 at the Elite Four, which is kind of garbage. Pretty garbage. That's pretty much like E tier like level bad. It then beat Red at level 100 at 8 hours 33 minutes, which is really bad. Like, that's pretty much as bad as Larvitar when it got into that late game. But because of the fact they managed to do it a lot quicker than Larvitar in about 20 minutes difference, Marill unfortunately does knock Larvitar like further down that D tier. Really surprised at that one. I thought Marill would honestly be an E tier, considering it only gets really good when it gets the ability Huge Power in later generations. So that brings us on to Furret, and genuinely this was my favourite run of the entire series so far. I have never used a Furret before up until this point, and I genuinely never believed it would be this good. So Furret beat the game in 4 hours 52 minutes level 59, which in hindsight is not the best, but in terms of playability and fun, it's amazing. So it actually beat Red at 6 hours and 20 minutes at level 69. There's only Lugia that has managed to beat the game under level 70, and Furret actually did that too. Now, because of the tiering listings, Furret actually does go into this C tier behind Umbreon because of the level and the times, which is really annoying. But I really want to put Furret a lot higher than this, but yeah, I can't with this tiering criteria. So that then brings us on to Pichu, and I already knew this one was going to be a bad run. I kind of wanted to get out of the way. I mean, the baby Pokemon are very hit and miss of which ones are good and which ones aren't. Yeah, Pichu is in the latter half. It is pretty bad. How bad though? It beat the Elite Four at 8 hours 11 minutes at level 91. Yeah, it had to be that high level just to get to beat the Elite Four. And there is no other Pokemon that we have done this game with so far, apart from Wobbuffet in the F tier, who has managed to beat over level 90. Tyrogue was level 90 itself, but Pichu was level 91, which is incredibly bad. It beaten Red. It actually did manage to beat Red, but it had to use double team at 9 hours 35, level 100. Because it actually did the game a little bit better than Tyrogue, it's just going before Tyrogue, and pretty much anything in this E tier had to use double team in order to beat the game. That's why you can see like Steelix and Ariados here, who are normally pretty good Pokemon, but when it came to Red, they had no chance apart from using double team. That then brings us on to Chinchou. Now Chinchou, surprisingly, very good Pokemon. I didn't think it would actually be that good, but yeah. I mean, if you've ever watched Smith Plays Pokemon's tiering ranking of his Crystal Legacy series, the Chinchou Lanternlang are actually ranked to be ones that can actually solve all the games quite comfortably on their own. And I didn't believe him until I really did the Chinchou run myself. Now, the Chinchou run, he finished the game at 5 hours 27 minutes at level 57. The level's phenomenal, but the timing's pretty average. When he beat Red, it was 6 hours 55 minutes at level 82. So we did have to go quite a lot of levels, so it means that we are going to be quite firmly in that C tier. Where in the C tier though? Well, unfortunately Mad Cargo did the game a lot better time, so it doesn't beat... Sunflora did it a lot worse, but yeah, unfortunately Mad Cargo did things a lot quicker than Sunflora or Chinchou did, meaning Chinchou needs to sit in that C tier. This then brings us on to Smoochum, and again, a very, very fun run to do if you've got time to do a solo run in Gen 2. Smoochum beat the game in 4 hours 13 minutes to level 65, which is better than Magby, who's currently our top baby Pokemon. And even against Red, we beat Red by 5 hours 26 minutes to level 83, which is better time and level than Magby, meaning Magby has been pushed off that bottom of the B tier, and Smoochum is currently our best baby type Pokemon. Which, to be honest, I'm surprised Magby did as well as it did, considering ice types generally are doing pretty well. I mean, we've got Sneasel up there. You've got Pokemon that can learn Ice Punch. They're all pretty much at the top. Yeah, I'm surprised Magby did as well as it did, considering the type difference. This then brings us on to Fampi. And you know what? In terms of time, Fampi did pretty good. 4 hours 32 minutes, level 68, which is pretty damn good. But it fell off really, really hard when it came to Red. Yeah, considering we beat the game in 4 hours 32 minutes, you would have thought that would put us up into the likes of the B tier. Which it's not going to happen when it got to Red. So at Red, Fampi had to be a level 100, and it did it at 6 hours 37 minutes, meaning it's going to drop massively down into that D tier. Where in the D tier though? Well, it did it a lot quicker than Marill, so I feel like it's definitely more fitting here. Smeagol didn't have to be level 100 to beat the game, but yeah, it just completely fell off when it got to Red, and that's because of the fact that he's got a Venusaur and a Blastoise. That's pretty much the reason why. You've got two strong attackers that are super effective, and Fampi's not very quick. It's a trope in Gen 2 that it's probably one of the slowest generations in the entire franchise. Meaning a lot of the Pokemon you think that will do well in the solo run are actually going to be a lot lower down than you think. Anyway, next up is Corsola. Corsola finished the game in 5 hours 24 minutes at level 61. Pretty average, pretty decent, considering it's a very slow water rock type as well. It also beat Red at 6 hours 55 minutes at level 82. Now this actually places it in the C tier just above Chinchou. Now considering Chinchou, in my opinion, has got better typing with water and electric, the moves that Corsola got were a lot more fitting. We could get some ice type moves, we can get rock type moves. It actually meant that it could get through the game just that little bit quicker and that little bit better than Chinchou could. Next up is Espeon, the one that we finished the first 10 off with. And Espeon, considering we've got Umbreon here in the C tier, Umbreon finished the game at 4 hours 48 minutes. Espeon finished the game at 4 hours 34 minutes at level 57, so the same level as Umbreon, but 16 minutes quicker. Meaning, Espeon actually sits in that B tier. And when it came to Red, Umbreon had to be level 75. Espeon only had to be level 74. It also beat Umbreon's time by 6 minutes, meaning it actually does stay in this B tier. But it doesn't get better than Magby, really. Magby finished the game a lot quicker, especially against Red. Yes, at a high level, but with both the Elite Four and Red beating at a worse time, Espeon has to go in that lower tier. Lower than Magby, really. So yeah, it's kind of proven that Espeon is the better evolution, if only just. Really, only just. That brings us on to Delibird. Now, you know what? Delibird is actually a fun run. The Ice Flying type is very unique. I mean, apart from likes of Articuno, but still, it's actually very unique. And I actually had quite a lot of fun with it. So, Delibird finished the game at 5 hours 21 minutes at level 69. One of the few Pokemon that have been able to do it under level 70, meaning it doesn't go anywhere near that D tier. It's going to sit in the C tier quite comfortably. When it came to Red, it beat the game at 6 hours 51 minutes at level 93. Chinchou did it at a lot lower levels, so to be fair, yeah, it actually sits just above Sunflora. Sunflora just keeps getting knocked further down that C tier. It's going to be a while before I think we see anything like Sunflora beat anything to still stay in that C tier. Now, next up is, hands down, the best Johto run that I have done so far. Raikou, the legendary electric beast, finished the game at 3 hours 12 minutes. 3 hours 12 minutes. Absolutely beasting Lugia's time by how many minutes? 23 minutes it beat Lugia's time at level 52. Lugia beat him by 1 level, but that time difference is ridiculous. Meaning Raikou goes straight to the top of the S tier. And even against Red, 4 hours 25 minutes at level 64, it beat Lugia out at both points here. Meaning Raikou is our undefinitive champion so far of Johto. And it was such a fun run, very happy with it. And I didn't think Lugia would get beaten by a legendary beast, but yeah, if any of them, I thought it would have been Suicune, not Raikou. And that brings us on to the last 3 Pokemon we've got here. All 3 normal types. First up we have Snubbull. Snubbull finished the game at 4 hours 53 minutes at level 67, and then Red at 6 hours 12 minutes at level 82, meaning it was a bit quicker than Magcargo, a little bit slower than Mantine. And we have got quite a bulky C tier right now. Igglybuff, really pretty bad Pokemon. I mean, if you thought the Pichu run was bad, yeah, Igglybuff was only just better. But there's a big difference of why Igglybuff is actually not going to go into that E tier. So, when it came to Red, Igglybuff finished the game at 9 hours 44 minutes at level 94, and it did not need Double Team to beat the game, whereas Pichu did. Meaning, it doesn't get an automatic E tier, it actually sits in that D tier, and it even sits above Phanpy for its level. Considering Phanpy had to be level 100, Igglybuff did not. Igglybuff is better than a Phanpy. Yeah. Again, another surprise on these tier listings that I was not expecting. And that leaves the very last Pokemon on this tier listing for the year. We have Dunsparce, who finished the game at 4 hours 49 minutes at level 59, and then beat Red at 6 hours 20 minutes at level 81. If it was not for that level, it would be beating Mantine, but unfortunately, Dunsparce sits pretty much bang in the middle of our entire tier listing. And there we go. Here is all the runs I've done so far on my Johto channel. The month of RetroBrown was definitely a very taxing affair for me. Aside from working, getting these videos sorted, and also living my life. Yeah, it was very taxing, but I'm happy with how it went. I'm happy with the runs that we did. I'm happy with some of the times we did, especially Raikou. Like, that run was phenomenal. Like, I've beat a much quicker game. Sorry, a much longer game than some of the Kanto runs that I've done. So that's phenomenal. Either way, hope you've enjoyed the video. Hope you enjoyed all of them on for RetroBrown. Please like, subscribe, share, and we'll see you. We'll see what Pokemon come up in this new year coming out. And, of course, take care of yourselves. Appreciate it.